Do I fit well? Let's shall start. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia, and in today's clip I'm actually gonna review a palette from Douglas. Douglas is like a kind of European retail brand. They usually have lots of kind of like high-end stuff, and they have their own brand. I usually get mine from Romania, but I think other European countries have it, except the UK, which is not in the European Union anymore. But yeah, they never had it anyway. So yeah, I don't think you can find this in the UK. I'm mentioning that because I do have a few people from the UK watching my clips. So yeah, I mean, maybe if you travel somewhere, you can grab it, which is not gonna happen anytime soon because we are on lockdown, Julia. Wow, where is your logic? Anyways, let's just open it up. Let's have fun. Maybe other people are interested into it. So I personally got it as a gift. I'm gonna open it like this because there's something wrong with it. I just discovered over my Instagram by the time I was trying to show it over my stories, and literally two of the shadows are falling from it. The glue dried down and they are not sticking to their place anymore. I'm just gonna take off this from the mirror. It has another, oh, it's not for the mirror, that's for the eyeshadows, and it has another protective thingy that's just nice. I've got no clue what's the price of it. However, I'm just gonna check because I want to be as transparent with you as possible if it's worth the money my cousin paid for it. So let's research. So this is not the cheapest thing. It's 99 RON, which is around like 20 quid. So it's not that cheap actually. I mean, I was expecting it because Douglas, like I said, it does have quite high-end bougie products, and I would assume they would have a quite, it's more on the affordable side compared to what they obviously have in the store, but it's still not like your general revolution makeup palette, do you know what I mean? So the issue I have with it is, like I said, two of the eyeshadows are falling from it, which is not ideal for a palette that costs 20 quid, no offense. Like, I know it's not like expensive, but it's not like a tenner, do you know what I mean? And even if it would be, yeah, I still would not like enjoy that. So yeah, that's the only downside to it that I found myself around literally a couple of seconds ago. It also has a brush, and it gives me very Anastasia Beverly Hills vibes. The packaging is literally like exactly the same, which is kind of like interesting. Obviously the color story is blue. It's not something I've seen at the brand Anastasia Beverly Hills, but yeah, just like, you know, I'm trying to point out as much as possible from the looks of it. Right, so let's just start and see what I'm gonna do with it. So right now I'm priming my eyes with my P. Louise base. This is the one thing I always use for priming my eyes, so yeah. Right, so obviously I'm gonna use their brush, but not only that, like I personally am planning to use as many shades as possible, so one brush is not gonna be enough. But I mean, it looks like a decent brush. I'm not quite sure if I have the Anastasia. Oh, here we go. So this is how they look like on next to each other, the one from Anastasia Beverly Hills and the one from Douglas. And what I can say is they could have done a better job of making it fluffier. This is the Douglas one. This is the other one, and you can see, as you can see, I mean, they have a lot of dust. I should clean them, but ignore that. So besides that, you can see this is much fluffier. While these guys, they are definitely different. Like this is much fluffier and like kind of like wider, while this is, I think it's gonna be perfect, this one, to be completely honest, for shimmer. So let's test it out. I mean, I don't have necessarily a transition shade in here. I'm not quite sure if you can see, so let's go bold. I think I'm gonna go with Gravity Gray, this shade here, and apply this guy to my crease. that it's an amazing payoff. Like, what? I'm shocked. Like, I'm literally shocked. I don't know what I was expecting, but not this, surely. I need to change, obviously, the brush because just working with one is not gonna happen, alright? That's impossible. So you kind of lose the pigment by the time you blend it out, but not massively. Like, it's not something that would bother me going back and forth. Generally speaking, I always do that. The only thing I would say is, I'm not quite sure if you can notice, it does have quite a lot of a fallout because they are so pigmented. I generally get this with pigmented eyeshadows, but what I can definitely say is it doesn't stain my skin, which is good. Just gonna get a tiny bit more. So far so good. As you can see, I went the second time with the pigment into it and it keeps the pigment very beautifully. It blends out really nicely. I went a bit with way too much, that's why it's so up high. I should have used like a tinier brush, but I just wanted to use the kind of like blending brush from its actual palette. But yeah, I mean, definitely if you expect this brush to be enough doing a full-on makeup with all of these colors, you're unrealistic. That's not gonna happen. I want to try Misty Blue, which is this kind of like turquoisey shade. It looks stunning, so I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm just gonna apply it somewhere. And I'm still gonna use the same brush from them. It's not bad. It's actually not that bad. In fact, I like it that it's more like pointed, to be completely honest. Like, it depends what you want to do with it. So in this moment, I really didn't mind it being that pointed. But obviously, if you want to blend the edges, I would prefer a more fluffier brush, or like the one from Anastasia Beverly Hills is. I'm always trying to pronounce it the English way, but realistically speaking, she's Romanian, I'm Romanian, I'm gonna say Anastasia. No more Anastasia Beverly Hills, it's Anastasia for me. So one thing you can do to use the same brush really is have a color switcher, which I actually do. I know not everybody does have it, but just take a, what is it called, like a tissue, something like that. It works still. So this shade is very similar to Gravity Gray, but they're not identical. I can definitely say, again, pigmentation, it's insane. They are definitely similar, but if you're looking very closely, you can tell the Gravity Gray has a gray undertone and the Misty Blue has definitely a blue undertone. It's on a turquoisey shade. I really love it, but once again, it has fallout. It doesn't stain my skin too badly, but it did a tiny bit. So what I assume is maybe Misty Blue is actually a pigment. Let's see if it says something on the back of the box. I bet it has pigments because these are so good. Like, they are interesting. Like, I really like them, okay? So far, it's all good. It doesn't say to contain pigment, which is kind of very crazy. Like, these are not pigments, and I feel they act as if they are pigments because they have the same kind of texture, the same kind of blendability, the same kind of fallout that generally speaking pigments do have, but they are eyeshadows. So I mean, it's for you to decide whether you enjoy not being pigments. It's true, pigments do stain, so potentially this is good because it doesn't stain. I don't mind staining, but some people might, so yeah, just pointing that out. Next, let's go with shimmers. I think I used enough mattes, but to be completely honest, it doesn't have that many mattes. Now I'm noticing. It has Black Hole, Misty Blue, Gravity Gray, and Milky Way are the only mattes. My brain, it did not process that. So you only have 4 mattes. You know what, I'm gonna go with Black Hole. Let's do it. And I'm actually gonna take the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush and try to smoke out the outer edge of my eye. It's good it doesn't stain your skin. The only one that did is Misty Blue, like I said, but it's not like the best black I've ever tried. I have much better blacks in my collection. However, it's a shade that can definitely smoke out the edge of your eye or help you out with a proper smoky eye in like a black shade. instead of like doing a smoky eye out of like the blues. But so far, so good. Now we are jumping into the shimmers because, to be completely honest, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna use the white. I might do in the inner corner, but that's gonna be at the end. So taking their brush, and out of all of the shimmers, Galactic Blue, it has to be the one. I'm using it. You know, it's the one that screams my name, being like, oh my god, please use me. I'm gonna use you, baby. I definitely do. This is such a beautiful shade. I'm gonna try to take it with my finger just because it looks as if it would be a creamier formula. Let's test it out. Not creamy, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's creamy. However, it has a really nice grip to it. Like, it doesn't make like a huge difference if you apply with your fingers, which for me personally is actually a good thing. I hate doing my hands dirty. I just don't like it. And yeah, I enjoy eyeshadows that are shimmery and perform the same way they would perform with a brush. It just makes life easier, really. But yeah, such a beautiful shade. Like, I was expecting to love it. It's insane. It's very kind of like smoky but shimmery. Like, this would be a shade that I would definitely reach out for it more often. But let's use another shade as well. I think I'm gonna go with Galaxy. It looks interesting. Usually when I do these clips, don't expect like the most beautiful eyeshadow eye look ever. I'm doing it for the testing purposes, and I like to look, you know, if it doesn't make sense, it's fine. I'm doing it for the sake of giving feedback on the eyeshadow in itself, really. Galaxy looks as if it would be a dark pinky shade, like a shifting pink shade, but the reality is it has a purple undertone, it has shimmering bits of pink and purple, and it definitely picks up more the purple side to it rather than the pink side, so it actually blends out extremely nice with the other shades. I don't know if you can see the difference over here in between the rest, but it's definitely on the purple side. Sick! I love it. So far, so good. Now let's test out Lunar Eclipse as a brow bone highlighting shade. This is actually much nicer than I was expecting because it doesn't have glitter into it as the rest, and I think it makes such a perfect shade for highlighting the brow bone and not go too crazy with it. Although I love myself some glitter, I know not everybody does, especially as a brow bone highlighter shade. And this is actually iridescent, but not like shimmery. It's more like of a shine through. Right, since I did not use anything underneath the eye, I think I'm gonna dare to go with Milky Way. I never used the white underneath my eye. We'll see how that goes. Very crumbly. I'm gonna start off by saying it's very crumbly. I mean, in general, whites are not the most pigmented things I've ever tried myself, to be completely honest. I mean, it does show up. I think it's a good white. I think it's a decent one. I mean, I'm still hoping one day I will have like a proper boom in your face white, which, to be completely honest, I think I don't have in my collection, or I don't remember. Oh my god, I have eyeshadow in this eye and I have contact lenses. Get out, get out. Now, I think it's a good one. It's just here it looks much better than here. I think it combined weirdly with the eyeshadow. Maybe it's just in my head. I don't know, it could be. Sometimes I look on the footage and I'm like, you're crazy, it looks fine. And in the moment, I'm like, oh my god, this is so ugly. Anyone else? Now I'm gonna try to put something in my inner corner, and I think I'm gonna go with Stardust, which is one of the shades that fell out, as well as Comet is the one that has fallen out. Amazing payoff, like amazing payoff. Very glittery, very sparkly. It looked like so. It did not disappoint me. Right, so now that I finished off, I'm gonna go and pop in some false lashes and some mascara. I don't know what I'm gonna do else, maybe an eyeliner, and then come back to do the swatches so you can see every single shade. Right, so let's start with the swatches. I'm literally gonna swatch every single one of them, and realistically speaking, from every single one I did swatch, as you can see, it's not working the best. I feel when it comes to swatches, it's like a really kind of just a no. Like, I think I have palettes that perform amazingly as swatches and also on the eyes, while this one, it is definitely on the note that is swatches horrible. Personally, personal opinion, you know, consider whatever you want to from the footage, but I personally think it swatches horrible. But the outcome on the eyes is not what it seems in the swatching part. I'm actually loving this palette, and I don't think it's that expensive. The only downsides that I have personally with my batch is 2 of the shades are falling off. That's not ideal. It's just not ideal to have my eyeshadows falling from it. But that's pretty much the only negative I have. But seriously, like, the swatches look horrible. Even this shade, which is Galactic Blue, oh my god, how it looks on the eyes, and it just looks like on the swatches. I think this one, which is Stardust, swatched the best out of them all. But no, I can't compare the swatches to the eyeshadow part on my lids. It worked beautifully. It actually blended very nicely. The fact that all of them are eyeshadows and the pigmentation of the mattes is insane. I really give it a freaking huge thumbs up. The sparkles, I would say, not all of them are super sparkly. I think the ones that are the most at their potential to be extremely bam in your face are this kind of ones that looked on more of a baked side, and you can definitely see the shimmers into them. Lunar Eclipse, Cosmic Dust, Meteor, Celestial, they definitely look more on the kind of like chill down side, which, I mean, it gives you variety. If you don't want glittery eyeshadow in the morning, maybe some people actually still, you know, go to jobs, because, you know, that's a reality. Some people still do, and they do their makeup and they don't want something like just glitter all over your face. So I think it's very versatile. Definitely at the same time, I wouldn't say this is like a day-to-day palette if you are not bold, because it doesn't have any browns into it, which is obviously a downside. But this is potentially like an interstellar smoky eye, and I definitely achieved that, and it performed superb on the eyes. But swatches, they're very disappointing. But at the end of the day, you're not gonna walk around with swatches, you know what I mean? Like, oh no, I'm not gonna thumbnail. Yeah. So my overall thoughts and opinions, I can go past the whole 2 eyeshadows falling from it. It's not that expensive. For 20 quid, I think it performs amazing. It has a mirror. The packaging is just like super sturdy, except the 2 shades that fallen from it. Also the brush, it's really good actually. Like, it's actually really good. So, you know, here you go. You also have a brush for free in here. I think that is pretty much what I had to say about this palette. I really do think it's amazing, like when it comes to its performance. So yeah, to finish off this tutorial, review, whatever you want to call it, this palette, I definitely recommend it. I think it's very affordable, very pigmented, very nice, blendable, whatever you want to call it. Like, I love the way my eyes look, what I achieved with it. And yeah, that's pretty much from me for today. I hope by any means this video was useful and relevant to you. And yeah, let me know if you're gonna grab this palette for yourself, or maybe another one with like different shades, because I've seen they have loads. They really do have loads. My cousin bought it in blue because she knows I'm obsessed with blue. Yeah, I will finish off. Have a lovely day, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.